Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman29, and thought I would come on and do a video on what I've been up to and what I'm thinking about. I've been watching a lot of Uziyahu's videos, and they're very enjoyable. And also the debate between Uziyahu and Hive Radical was also interesting to view, the different opinions on the belief system of Mormonism, and those views from both sides were most helpful in understanding a little bit more about that belief system from one who left and from one who still remains. The book that I got this weekend is How to Read the Jewish Bible. There's the author there. You could probably Google it. And it offered some really interesting views on the Old Testament, the Tanakh, and the Torah, and how it's laid out, how it's supposed to be read, literary styles, literary techniques, and hypothesis about certain accounts. And there's something here that I found really fascinating. Was this isn't a new idea on the idea of the Garden of Eden and man being thrown out, but I just wanted to talk about those views a little bit. And it is in the second account of creation, chapter 2, starting with verse 4b. Now, the reason why the text it's assumed by scholars to start at 4b. Chapter 1 runs into chapter 2 to 4a, and the split, according to the literary style, starts another author. It appears in a different subject matter. So the split occurs, they believe, currently around 4b, Genesis 2 4b, and I heard quite a few theories on the idea of the garden, and of course you have the Christian view concerning the fall and all that. And there was one view that I heard from the teaching company on the Old Testament, Introduction to the Old Testament. The guy's last name was Odin, and he was discussing that it was because man wanted to become as gods that they ate the tree of good and evil, knowledge of good and evil. A lot of people forget the knowledge of good and evil part. It's knowledge of good and evil, to become as gods, to know, and they were removed before they would eat the tree of life. And then they progressed on in the primeval history accounts from Genesis 1, chapter 1, to Genesis chapter 11 is the primeval history. Man ends up mating with the sons of men, the Elohim from heaven, and monsters roam the earth. So Yahweh floods out these man-god type giants, and after the flood they build the Tower of Babel to go up and down into heaven like the Babylonian ziggurat, so he scatters people, and then he starts dealing in chapter 12. Some debate on when exactly it happens. Could be the last part of 11, but chapter 12 he starts dealing with one man rather than the whole world. Now, some of the views concerning that was just one view where the man wanted to be as the gods. The view that I read in How to Read the Jewish Bible puts forth the hypothesis that they were asexual in the garden and they would live forever, and they were tricked by the serpent into eating the knowledge of the tree, and that had something to do with sexuality. So when they ate, they knew that they were naked, and they knew both good and evil, and being a connector, it's a literary device meaning all. You see the two extremes connected with and. It happens in Ugaritic literature also. Yahweh, in a sense, in the text says, lest we need to remove man, lest he eats of the tree of life and lives forever. So not only would you have these people procreating, but also living forever, and there seems to be a concern, this is just a hypothesis, about overpopulation, which is kind of interesting. And I never viewed the Hebrew word for know in the knowledge of good and evil as being sexual. I don't believe it's used that way. However, the word know, it could be a word play on the word know or new. The word new in Hebrew is used sometimes referring to sexual intercourse. Also, one other theory was that they were tricked by the serpent into eating good and evil because the serpent wanted to deprive them of eternal life, and thereby they weren't allowed to eat of the tree of life. And this comes up in ancient Near Eastern texts, and especially in the text Adapa and the Food of Life, where he's tricked into not eating the food that was set before him that would have gave him eternal life, because he thought that it would harm him in some way. And you hear a lot about, Yahweh lied. When they ate it, they didn't die. They did because they became mortals. Psalms 82, if you read it in the, what's that version? The Scriptures, Bible text. I don't know how good it is, but in there they use the actual words for the name of the deity, of the Creator. If it's Elohim, they use Elohim. If it's Yahweh, they use Yahweh right in the text. So it's easy to see. And Psalms 82, you see Yahweh taking his place in the council, chastising the heavenly council for being immortal, and threatening them with mortality, and threatening them that they would die like men if they didn't get their acts together. So some of this is pretty interesting. I've been going through that. I just finished the last of a 4-part essay on the literary comparisons between Indra, Marduk, Yahweh, and Baal, and used some text in the Baal epic and from writings from the Ugaritic text to support some ideas that I've been thinking about in that. So hopefully those are just some thoughts on Genesis 1 and 2, and I have some interesting thoughts I'll be sharing as I go through this book. There's plenty of new things that I've kind of learned, and it's very refreshing to understand how these texts go together from a literary perspective, and some of the possible hypotheses on the time periods and the writing styles of the Hebrews. So take care, friends, and remember, if everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.